Britain, an island nation shaped by relentless waves and howling winds, but also by the ebb and flow of civilization. This is the story of a pivotal period in its history, the early Middle Ages, spanning roughly from the year 650 to 1066. It was an epoch of profound change, a time when the departure of Roman legions left a void quickly filled by new arrivals seeking their fortunes, their destinies intertwined with the very soul of this land. We will journey through these centuries, witnessing the rise and fall of kingdoms, the clash of cultures, and the enduring spirit of the people who called Britain home. In the twilight of Roman rule, as legions withdrew to confront crises closer to home, the once mighty empire began to crumble. Britain, once a prosperous outpost of a vast empire, found itself adrift, its people left to navigate an uncertain future. The centralized governance, the legions that had secured its borders for centuries, all gone, leaving a power vacuum waiting to be filled by those who dared. Into this uncertain world came new settlers drawn across the seas from the north and east, seeking opportunities in the chaos. Angles, Saxons, Jutes, names that would become synonymous with the very fabric of this land, each bringing their own unique influences. They arrived not as conquerors, at least not initially, but as opportunistic migrants seeking new beginnings in a land ripe with possibility and promise. They established small settlements, their cultures, languages, and traditions gradually weaving together, laying the foundations for what would become Anglo-Saxon England, a new era in the island's history. But this was not a period of peaceful assimilation. The blending of cultures was fraught with tension. Competition for land and resources was fierce, leading to inevitable conflicts and skirmishes. From these clashes, powerful warlords emerged, forging alliances, consolidating territories, and laying claim to the title of king, each seeking to expand their influence. The tapestry of early medieval Britain was being woven, thread by thread, conflict by conflict, into a complex and ever-changing picture, setting the stage for the future of the British Isles. The Saxons, initially fragmented and scattered across the land, gradually coalesced into larger, more formidable kingdoms: Northumbria, Mercia, Wessex, East Anglia, Essex, Kent, and Sussex. Each of these kingdoms had its own unique culture and governance. These kingdoms, often at odds with one another, vied for supremacy, their fortunes rising and falling with the tides of war, alliances, and intricate diplomacy. The landscape of power was ever-changing, marked by both conflict and cooperation. Yet a new and formidable threat emerged from the sea, a force as relentless and unpredictable as the North Sea storms, the Vikings, whose reputation for ferocity preceded them. Hailing from the rugged lands of Scandinavia, these fierce warriors, driven by an insatiable thirst for plunder and conquest, descended upon Britain's shores with terrifying speed, leaving a trail of fire, destruction, and fear in their wake. Monasteries, which were repositories of immense wealth and invaluable knowledge, were particularly vulnerable to their relentless raids. The Vikings targeted these sacred places for their riches and treasures. Lindisfarne, Iona, Jarrow, these names are etched in history not for their sanctity or religious significance, but for the brutality and devastation they endured at the hands of the Viking invaders. The Vikings, however, were more than just ruthless raiders. They were also skilled seafarers, adept traders, and ambitious settlers who sought new lands and opportunities. Their influence, initially disruptive and chaotic, gradually seeped into the very fabric of British society, leaving an indelible mark on its evolution and development during the early medieval period. Amidst the tumult of conquest and change, the lifeblood of commerce flowed through Britain's veins. Trade, both internal and external, played a pivotal role in shaping early medieval society. Towns and cities, often located near navigable rivers or coastal harbours, became bustling centres of exchange. Goods from distant lands, silks from the east, spices from the south, furs from the north found their way into the hands of eager buyers. The growth of trade fueled the rise of a merchant class, their wealth challenging the traditional power structures of the nobility. Markets held weekly or annually provided opportunities for farmers, artisans, and traders to sell their wares, exchange news, and engage in the social interactions that bound communities together. The clinking of coins, the bartering of goods, the murmur of countless conversations. These were the sounds of a society in flux, adapting to the changing times. The exchange of goods was not just about commerce, it was about culture and connection. Each transaction carried stories, traditions, and knowledge from far-off lands. The merchants were not merely traders, but also the bearers of new ideas and innovations. This vibrant trade network laid the foundation for the economic and cultural landscape of medieval Britain, influencing everything from cuisine to fashion and even the language spoken in the streets. For the vast majority of people in early medieval Britain, life revolved around the rhythms of the seasons, the cycle of planting and harvest. They lived in small villages, their world bounded by the fields they tilled and the forests that provided timber and game. Life was harsh, unforgiving. Infant mortality was high and disease was an ever-present threat. Yet within these communities, a strong sense of kinship and mutual obligation prevailed. Families worked together, sharing the burdens of daily life. The lord of the manor, granted his lands by the king, held sway over the lives of his tenants, providing protection in return for labor and loyalty. Religion, too, played a central role in their lives. The church, with its monasteries and cathedrals, offered not just spiritual guidance, but also education, healthcare, and a refuge from the uncertainties of the world. The arrival of Christianity in the 6th century had a profound and lasting impact on Britain. Monasteries, established by missionary monks, became centers of learning, preserving classical knowledge and spreading literacy. The church, with its hierarchical structure and vast landholdings, became a powerful force in the land, its influence extending into every aspect of life. Kings sought the blessings of bishops and archbishops, their reigns legitimized by the church's authority. The cathedrals and abbeys that rose across the land, testaments to the power of faith, became centers of pilgrimage, drawing the devout from far and wide. However, the church was not without its internal struggles. Disputes over doctrine, the role of the papacy, and the accumulation of wealth within the church itself created tensions that would echo down the centuries. The Viking raids, initially sporadic and opportunistic, evolved into something more coordinated and ambitious. Large armies led by powerful warlords sought not just plunder but also land and permanent settlement. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, weakened by internal strife and unable to present a united front, often fell prey to these Viking incursions. York, once a thriving Anglo-Saxon city, became a Viking stronghold, a testament to their growing power. The reign of Alfred the Great, King of Wessex, marked a turning point. Through a combination of military prowess, astute diplomacy, and a program of fortification and naval expansion, he stemmed the Viking advance, securing a portion of England for the Anglo-Saxons. His legacy, however, was not just one of military victory, but also of educational and cultural renewal, laying the groundwork for a unified England. The decades leading up to 1066 were marked by a power struggle between the English and the Vikings. The death of Edward the Confessor, without a clear heir, plunged England into a succession crisis. Harold Godwinson, a powerful English earl, claimed the throne, but his claim was challenged by William, Duke of Normandy, a distant relative of Edward. Across the English Channel, William assembled a vast invasion force, its sights set on the English throne. The stage was set for a confrontation that would forever alter the course of English history. In the fields near Hastings, on a crisp October day, the fate of England hung in the balance. The Battle of Hastings, a clash of arms and ambitions, would determine not just the future of a kingdom, but also the destiny of a people. The early medieval period, a time of immense change and upheaval, laid the foundations for the England we know today. The departure of the Romans, the arrival of the Anglo-Saxons and Vikings, the growth of trade, the spread of Christianity, these forces, often in conflict, shaped the destiny of a nation. It was an era of both darkness and light, of violence and creativity, of destruction and renewal. As we stand on the precipice of the Norman conquest, we can look back at this period with a sense of awe and wonder. The legacy of early medieval Britain lives on, not just in its ancient ruins and manuscripts, but also in the very fabric of its society, a testament to the enduring spirit of its people. And so, the tapestry of early medieval Britain is woven, a complex and intricate design of triumph and tragedy, of invasion and assimilation, of faith and ambition. From the ashes of Roman rule rose a new England, forged in the fires of conflict, its destiny forever intertwined with the waves that crash against its shores. The story, however, does not end here. The Norman conquest, a pivotal moment in English history, awaits, its echoes reverberating down the centuries. But for now we pause, reflecting on the enduring legacy of a bygone era, a time when the very soul of England was forged.